right, we're here at the Adidas Euro Camp with Ivan Kharchenkov. Ivan, this is your first time attending the Adidas Euro Camp, and you're coming off a strong first day. What are you trying to show the coaches and scouts and everybody here that's watching your game? What are you trying to show them about who you are as a player?
Just, to show myself because, many didn't see me, because I was hurt and then, I was playing for the first team. So, not getting a lot of minutes, just, showing what I can do, my versatility, and yeah.
So playing with the first team with Bayern Munich, you're around a lot of, very high level European veterans, some of whom maybe have touched the NBA at some point in their career. What have you learned from, practicing and playing with these older, experienced players this season?
Definitely, the attention to detail. For example, Baz, he's really going into details and, just he's using his experience, not, don't have to be, going 100%, but you can work out them with your mind. So yeah, just using different routes to get to the point.
Great. And you're playing at such a high level of basketball at such a young age, but could you tell us maybe a little bit about your story and your path getting here, originally being from Russia, traveling to Germany? When did you start playing, and maybe tell us about your path to where you are today?
Sure. So I was born in Russia, in Moscow, and my parents then moved, I was 1 year old in 2007 to Germany. And it was 70 kilometers from Munich. And at the beginning I was just practicing with my pops because he's also a world champion. And my mom with my pops, I went to practices and watched them because my mom had to work and my pops had a team to coach. So I was really all the time in the gym. And then I just started practicing with my pops because, otherwise I would be sitting at home doing nothing. So I really liked it and just kept going. And my parents said, okay, if you really want to go somewhere, you have to play with older guys. Okay, did that. Have to go to a bigger city. Then we went to Munich. Okay, did that. Went to a bigger club. Went to Bayern. And from there, I think from under 14, so I was 12 till now, I'm at Bayern. And just was keeping working my way up, and then that's pretty much it.
So what would you imagine as being sort of the next steps in your journey? Where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
I really want to see myself in the NBA 5 years from now, but next step, right now I'm still playing for Bayern, and we'll see.
What kind of player do you think you'd be in the NBA in 5 years?
5 years? I want to be like a go-to guy for sure. I want to take responsibility. That's what I don't like right now, because I don't have a big role right now. But I want to have a big responsibility. I want to make the decision, the game decision, game, win or lose. I want to make that decision.
What players do you look up to, or have you looked up to from a young age, or that you've taken things from and modeled your game after?
Right. At the beginning, I really was a fan of Steph Curry. And had jersey, shoes from him, everything. But now I understood, I'm a little bigger, I'm a little stronger than him, and just not that play style from him. But now I really like Luka and Devin Booker, and I feel like I have their if you combine them both, with the strong body and with the shot that Book has, really good similarities.
And you clearly take a lot of pride in the defensive end. Where does that come from? Has that always been that way? And have you always been like that, basically, since you were little?
Well, in the early stages of my career, I would say, when I was still 12 or 13, 14 years old, I was just playing offense. But at that age, you don't think about defense because you cannot tell to a 14-year-old kid to do that, to do this. So it was always a couple of coaches say, you gotta play defense, and then it was I'm a bad defender, and then when it's when I got older and get to the bigger stage, like a third division team or first division team, then I was a rookie, so play defense first. And yeah, that I just started doing it by locking in, because well, if I don't do that, I cannot do this. So I have to start doing this to get to the next step. And I mean, for me, it's I really know, I feel like, how to guard somebody, and then it's just if I really want to or not, and I want to my opponent not to score on me. Well, yeah, I really don't like people scoring on me, especially dunking and then like celebrating, yeah, it's Gordon, yeah. So yeah, I mean, if they're going up, I really like to block their ass.
Any defenders who you watch to learn from?
Defenders, yeah, I really like Kawhi. Kawhi Leonard, especially that one steal that he had when he was like, when you turn around, without looking at the steal. I don't know if you know that what I'm talking about, but it's just, he's reading the game really well. And I feel like if you're reading the game and getting in your positions, like again talking about Shabazz, being at the spot already, at the right moment, you don't have to do as athletic stuff as if you have to run 2 extra meters. So just being at the right spot, bumping somebody, or just anticipating the pass.
Now it's official, Thunder versus Pacers. Who do you have and how many games?
So Bayern also asked, our social media team also asked who you got, and I already 2-3 weeks ago I told them it's gonna be OKC all the way. So I'm still sticking to OKC. I think they're gonna make it in 6, and Shea's gonna be the MVP.
Gotcha. All right, thanks so much.
Perfect.
Good job.